So let's get the response now from the health department. And in a moment, I'm hoping to bring up Dr. Luvuyo Bayeni, who's the Chief Director for Human Resources for Health at the Department of Health. Dr. Bayeni, good evening to you and welcome. You would have heard what Dr. Hussein has said. You're also very aware of the petition that's been sent out and the topic of discussion tonight in terms of the plight of the unplaced junior doctors. What is your response? Good evening, by the way, and welcome. I'm so sorry. Basic manners is beginning to operational mode. Thank you for your time, Dr. Bayeni.
No, I understand you're so keen to hear about the response. Thank you very much, and thank you for having us here, and greetings to my colleague, Dr. Hussein. Firstly, let's acknowledge that as a department, we are very much open to conversation, interaction, and accessible to our stakeholders, including the South African Medical Association. The second issue is that, yes, we do accept and acknowledge that our process started in the beginning of October 2023, from the 4th until the 23rd of October. That's when the applicants were allowed to place their choices and apply with us. It is notable that we do 2 cycles, and the second cycle is in June for those who are commencing in July. So we just completed that, and we had to adjust and do something about our system, which was also having a new service provider, hence the delay in terms of October. However, we have been very consistent in bringing on board and communicating with our stakeholders in the form of all the statutory bodies, because it's not only the doctors that we deal with, but also all the health professionals. All the 16 statutory bodies have been engaged and notified of the processes since we started, including prior to us opening the system on the 4th of October. And SAMA as well as SAMATU, who are the 2 bodies that represent doctors as junior doctors, they were also part of those conversations. But coming and fast forwarding to where we are now, indeed we have started notifying our applicants of their placements as of last week. I can confirm that even at office, by Friday last week, we had an indication of people that were commenting on their placements. By commenting, I mean it was a mixed feeling. There were those that were accepting, there were those that were querying, there were those that were rejecting, as well as those that wanted swaps. So our initial target was indeed to try and make sure that we do not miss the deadline of the 30th of September, which we have tried to work tirelessly to ensure that we meet, which I can confirm that that was well communicated with our stakeholders, and we did meet. Okay. The second part that I do agree with SAMA in terms of where are we now. There are those that really feel that they still would have preferred more time, especially those that might feel that they did not get their first choice or second choice or third choice. But I also want to assure the public of South Africa that our system is such that you are allowed to give 5 choices. And to us, the way we interpret the 5 choices, if I may make a scenario, we take it as if the first one is what you would refer to as your sweet, but the last one, number 5, is what you would refer to as a tolerable pill. So to us, all 5 you would still swallow. It's just a question of which one you got. So we can confirm that.
Okay, go ahead, confirm.
We can confirm that in terms of our placement, we had our clients, applicants that were receiving, in terms of the allocation of within their first 5 choices, which we got from them, we had allocated about 77.97% of our applicants on the first 5 choices. Okay. And yes, we do accept that there are those we gave outside their 5 choices, but we still tried to be close to where they would have wanted. And of those, 13% of those, we still gave them within the provinces that were enlisted in their first 5 choices. Okay, great. Thanks for that clarity.
Got that, Dr. Bayeni. Again, a lot to get through, and I know that these matters are complex, but we are pressed for time. Question tonight is, how many are unplaced still? And when will, well, let's start there. How many are unplaced?
At this stage, we have made sure that we place all the applicants that we've had of COMSEF, and the only challenge that we are dealing with is the swap, which is about 8.9% of people that were placed outside their first 5. And
now, hold on, I need to understand, sorry, Dr. Bayeni, before we go into these permutations, how many are unplaced tonight, as in people, not percentages?
We have got 202 that we have not notified of their placements. And of those, there are those that will be late starters according to their application responses, which means that they are not anticipated to be starting on the 1st of November.
That they would be for what, the June period or the next intake?
Actually, from those 202, we call it status because they'll be starting from the 1st of March, not in the January and February intake. Hence, our communication with them has been that we will be coming back to them in terms of the placement in January, because even their applications, they had stated that they are not starting on the January.
All right, and so that their process, for those who are still waiting for their placement, as you say, that will be the late starters, they will be notified at the very latest in January, giving them 2 months to make those arrangements for their families. And then the others you're dealing with are people who might not have gotten their first choices, so those negotiations are being made. We perhaps have to re-invite you so that we can actually get a proper breakdown on some of those details for those junior doctors. But I want to ask about the service provider that you said, that the system had a new service provider. I'm happy for you to use a percentage. What percentage of the responsibility for the delay, the confusion and the disruption are we seeing now is because of the appointment of a new service provider? When were they appointed?
In actual fact, we can safely say that we cannot attribute that to them. And we had our own delays in terms of the service and the system. However, we can actually acknowledge and commend them that since we have opened on the 4th of October for the application process, that closed on the 23rd, we have not had much delay in terms of their efficiencies. So that part, I can safely exempt them from it.
All right. Well, I mean, when I asked what was the reason, this is one of the reasons that you had given. So thanks for that clarity. We're going to leave it there. But again, because this is such a major issue, and it's almost one that comes up every time the placement issue comes up, I would really love to perhaps have more discussion on this. But thank you for your time tonight and for responding to our earlier guest, Dr. Luvuyo Bayeni, who is the Chief Director for Human Resources for Health at the Department of Health.